Video marketing is a hot topic right now in real estate. Some of us have been doing it for a while, some of us are just getting started, and some of us don't have a clue about it. Today I'm bringing on Mike Sherrard, who is one of the #1 agents in the world with video content for real estate, and we're going to be chatting about how you can take simple strategic steps to make sure you can implement video into your business and help you thrive. What's up guys, Louis Galt here. This is going to be part 3 in our 3-part series of the market shift with Mike Sherrard and how we can strategize to make sure that we are thriving inside of it. So before we get going, 2 things guys. First one, if you want to be entered in to win a free subscription to Mike's Social Agent Academy, which is the #1 training for realtors on all the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, everything is inside of there. It's insane. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment below with your biggest takeaway, and we'll announce a winner here shortly. The second thing, guys, we want to help you win. So if you want to talk more in depth with Mike and myself, we can get on a one-on-one call and talk about how we can partner in the future with the thousands of agents that we already do all around the globe and help you thrive in this shifting market. We would love to hear from you. So you can hit that link in the description or in the pinned comment and get right in, book a call with us. We'd love to chat. So without further ado, the last part in this series, let's talk about video marketing. All right, look who's back, everyone. It's Mike Sherrard for our part 3 of this amazing series we've been doing. Today, this is probably one of our favorite topics to jam out about because we probably do it every single week. It is video and how video is so important to realtors. And especially in this shift in market, what we're going to be doing, this is something that can really set you apart from your competition. It's something that completely changed my business. And obviously Mike is the expert on it. So Mike, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Super excited to dive into this. You know, this completely changed my business as well. And we've been able to help so many people change theirs. So really excited to dive into this because basically what we're going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to show you exactly how to rank your videos #1 on YouTube in order to get clients coming directly from you. We've got, agents and organization of the Wolf Pack, which we want to talk about partnering with Louis and I and getting all of this for free and a ton more. And actually, us helping you one-on-one with it. You could book a call with us, but we've got agents in our group doing, 15 deals per month entirely free through YouTube. Agents on track to do 140 million in their second year from YouTube, as I'm going to show you guys. And the best part is clients are coming to you directly from free. You could see, Louis got an incredible channel that's been able to build massive momentum for his business. I've now got over 60,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which I'm very grateful for. So this is going to be a really cool opportunity to show you guys what not many people are willing to, because usually people just want to charge for it. So before we kind of dive into the tactical, and then Louis and I will be jamming out about this, I just want to give myself a quick introduction for anybody that, is coming across this and doesn't quite know who I am. So my name is Mike Shardon from up here in Canada, more specifically in Calgary. And social media is my forte. I got started with Instagram when I first got started in real estate, and that really helped me build my personal brand. But then I leveraged video, and that really was the game changer for me. Took my business to a completely different level. And I swear by it because I've been able to now help people in every single market do the exact same thing. So me and Louis are business partners here at EXP, where, again, just by leveraging the exact strategies I'm going to show you guys, whether you're at another modern brokerage or if you're at EXP, these are the same strategies that I use to break every record related to personal attraction in the history of EXP worldwide, right? Where I've got the most personally sponsored agents and the most personally sponsored actively producing agents, all without reaching out to a single agent in my life. Everybody's come directly to me through video. So whether you want to skyrocket your production, as we're going to show you guys in this presentation, or if you want to build a real estate team, brokerage, whatever your situation is, these principles are going to apply to both. So I think, Louis, we should start with why YouTube is a necessity. And I think it's really important to help people understand the kind of purpose behind this and why you really need to be leaning into this now, and not just treat it as a nice to have, but a must have, right? So the first thing that I like to talk about, guys, is, and I'll talk briefly about why it's such a time sensitive opportunity in a second here, but establishing relationships through value, right? Every agent says they get into the business because they love working with people. They love connecting with people. But if you look at how they approach their client attraction, they're not connecting with anybody because they're sending up mailers, or they're just running ads with their headshot and no value and not leveraging video. And ultimately, video is essentially conversations at scale. And that's what real estate's all about. It's not about leads, it's about conversations. And the more people get to know you, the more they're going to feel free to reach out to you. And ultimately, this comes through leading with value. And it's the ability to show, not just tell what you do differently, right? If you look at some of the agents in organization now, they don't even have listing presentations. They go to a listing presentation, they pull up their YouTube channel and like, hey, here's, all these other properties that, by the way, I could show you the quality of work that I do, but also it's getting in front of 10 or 100,000 people more than any other agent in my market. Don't you want this exposure for your property? And based on NAR stats, 86% of sellers would rather work with an agent that leans into video and one that doesn't. This is really important now, where you can show what you do different than the rest. You could show the quality of your work, and you can also show people your knowledge of your market updates, looking at, sharing through experience, what it was like to move from a different market to your market and being able to relate to people on that. It's really important. But also it leans into consumer behavior, right? Because if I, threw something at this wall and put a dent in it and I needed to fix the drywall, do you think I would either go read an article on Google, step by step, line by line on how to do it and try and think, oh, am I doing it right? Or would I just look on YouTube and find a video that shows me how to do it and follow along with that video? You'd be following along with the video because it's much easier and it's much more convenient, and convenience sells. It also has a mass conversion rate, right? The average person in our organization that is leveraging video converts leads at 60 to 70%. The average conversion rate for any other form of advertising, marketing, or prospecting is 1%. So when you start looking at this, it's because people are coming directly to you and they already feel like they know you. And that's the ultimate goal with social media. It's evergreen in nature, which is really powerful because it's doing something once and scaling it. If you look at traditional ways of doing business, if you send mailers out, you have to do it every single month. If you, prospect, door knock, and cold call, your business is only growing the hours that you're actually putting into that activity. Whereas if you look at something like this, it creates leverage of your time, because if you put out one properly optimized videos, and we're going to show you in this, kind of presentation, ultimately that video can be bringing you clients for the next 5 years. So it gives you leverage, which is super important. And not a lot of agents are able to scale their business because they get constrained by the time they can invest into their business. But also, it's a super time sensitive opportunity. There's going to be people that watch this, maybe, however many people end up watching it, 1% of them might actually implement what we're going to talk about. That 1%, if they're in your market and start to do this, the more people in your market that start to lean into this, the more saturated it becomes, the more difficult it's going to be able to rank and get clients coming directly to you. Whereas if you look now, there might be 1 to 5 people in your market actually properly leveraging this. Way easier to compete against 1 to 5 people than the 30,000 other agents in your market that are all doing the traditional way, right? So this is a really important opportunity where I think in the next, year, 2 years, you're going to have a golden era where you can really lean in, build a solid foundation, and rank for the rest of the time because of the credibility you'll build up with the algorithm. Whereas for people that wait until they're like, oh, damn, I have to now get on video because I'm behind, you're going to get hooped.
Yeah, speaking to that point, and especially with the conversion rate, you guys just look back in history, look what just happened to our whole world here. When COVID shut down, took everything away, the people in our organization thrived because we're on video. So no one wanted to make contact. When no one knew what was going on, they wanted to do limited showings. They didn't want to meet up too much. They didn't want to be in person. So the only way they could get to know, like, trust you is to see your face, to see you talking, to see you in action. And the people in our group who had built up a library of content, they were the ones who thrived, including myself. If people were looking to move to Denver, I've got playlists on moving to Denver, and they would just look through them. And, Mackenzie and myself, we got a ton of business from those videos. So it's a time-sensitive opportunity because relocation is happening. There's so much going on. And the more you are evergreen inside of YouTube and different channels with your videos, the more business you're going to gain. And like Mike's saying, it's a time-sensitive opportunity. Once this gets too saturated, it's going to be like everything else. But you have an opportunity right now to stand out from your competition with video.
Big time. And, we're going to dive straight in, guys, and talk to you guys exactly how to kind of leverage these strategies to get clients to come to you. But, before us, I just want to dive into some of the misconceptions, because I hear a lot of people that come up with all this nonsense about, why it's so difficult to get on video, why they're not going to be able to do it, why it's not for them, all this kind of stuff. And that's really not the case. So the first thing that we really have to get out of the way is followers, subscribers, and views. You do not need a lot. And this is where a lot of agents go wrong, because we've even had agents in an organization that have put up a video, got 17 views, and got a $1.4 million listing from those 17 views. Well, that's a pretty massive return on your time invested, because you're going to get a $30,000 commission check from 17 views, right? It's not like a traditional industry where we're relying on YouTube income or we're relying on selling cheap products. We're selling real estate here. So even if you get 10, 20, 30, 200 views, whatever your situation is, if one of them decides to buy, sell, or invest, that's a massive return on your time invested, right? So it's really important to kind of remove yourself from the connection of those vanity metrics, because it doesn't matter. And you want to make sure that you don't feel like that's a depiction of the quality of your work. And if you're not getting very many views, you don't want that to kind of sabotage yourself and say, well, that means my quality is terrible, and that means that I'm never going to get a client. It's not the case at all. You just have to make sure that you're consistent with this. Now, a lot of people think that you need expensive equipment or to hire a local video team. If you look at the agents in our group, all of them that are crushing and doing $50 to $100 million a year from video are all using this right here, an iPhone. That's it, right? POV style videos, putting it in their office or their home or out and about in, different communities. They're leveraging their iPhone or their mobile phone. And this is all that you need in order to build momentum. Again, we've got an agent that's just using his iPhone that probably will do 140 million this year. So when you start looking at that, you don't need these fancy cameras. You don't need the fancy lighting. You need to take action. Again, we talked about the fact that a lot of people think it's saturated because they look on YouTube and say there's, 5 agents in Seattle that are also putting out YouTube videos. Well, I'd much rather compete against the 5 agents in Seattle on YouTube than the 25,000 other agents doing everything else that a traditional agent is doing. I'm going to show you how to make sure that it's not time consuming. But the fifth one that's a big misconception is people think that you have no value to provide or that nobody's interested in you. And what you'll see is 2 different things. Number one, if you live in your city, which you do, and you have a real estate license, which you do, you know more than 90% of the people that are actually going to be watching your content, right? So people are interested in what it's like to live in your city, what it's like to move there, what it's like to live there, what it's like to relocate there, what it's like in different communities and all the amenities. Like, people are genuinely interested, which is why HGTV even exists, because people are naturally interested in real estate. Just be the HGTV agent in your market, because there isn't one. And then also in terms of people not having an interest in you because maybe you think you look a certain way or you're a certain age or a certain level of experience or whatever your situation is, that's not the case at all either. Because when you look at it, people are always going to connect with people that are most like them. So if you're a different age, a different ethnicity, a different personality type, whatever your background is, there's always going to be a large demographic of people that relate to you versus me or Louis or any other agent in your market. There's always going to be room for you. So you need to really kind of get outside of these limiting beliefs and really get to the point of taking action.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And that, it's a big thing that we covered in our last video about branding. Same thing, find out who you are and then just speaking to that, like to your point, Mackenzie and I have a video on our channel touring South Park Hill, a neighborhood here in Denver. It's not a hitter video. It doesn't have a ton of views and it's not good. Like, if I watch it back, I'm like, oh, this is not a great video. But we got $1.4 million who moved here from San Francisco directly from that video. So the return on the video is everything. It's just talking about it. My wife is a native of Denver, so she can speak to this city more than most people that actually live here. So we harness that and we put that information out there and people relate.
Definitely. And guys, this is hopefully going to really drive this point home before we get into the strategy side of things, is looking at the data, right? And this is one thing that hopefully kind of opens your eyes in terms of the traditional way of doing real estate and the modern way of doing real estate, right? One of the reasons why I transitioned to social media is because I door knock for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week for the first 6 months of me being a licensed agent. The problem is that I realized my business was only growing during those 3 hours a day, and I was working 12 hours a day. So my business was only growing a quarter of the time that I was actually putting into my business. Whereas if you look at leveraging, scalable evergreen video strategies, it gives you leverage of your time and it's an efficiency in your business. Because now if you look at, this agent here, for example, based on the amount of views he gets per day, and this is one of our business partners, he's essentially getting 27 days worth of content watched every 24 hours. So I was prospecting 3 hours a day. He's prospecting a month a day, which you can't compete with. And the best part is because this is video, because this is going to be rolling no matter what, you can be enjoying time with your kids, your spouse, your friends, traveling, whatever, and your content is still out there bringing you clients, getting in front of new people, bringing people into your ecosystem. So it's really powerful to see the scalability that this has compared to the traditional way of doing things. And again, I'm not saying that the traditional way doesn't work. I'm saying that there's better ways to do it that create more leverage so that you can scale and actually increase your production while simultaneously being able to get more time back to your business. So let's kind of show you the power of this before we dive into the real tactical part. So the power of YouTube SEO, you can see here, when people look up anything related to social media on Google, because Google owns YouTube, my YouTube videos show up. So this happens with a lot of the agents and organization where people are looking at moving to Denver, and then one of Louis' videos will show up right below the people spending thousands of dollars, other agents spending thousands of dollars a month on Google pay-per-click ads. Well, again, going back to consumer behavior, if there's 3 ads at the top saying, hey, move to Denver, here's here's all the homes for sale. And then you see one video based on consumer behavior, that free video will get more engagement than the paid ads that people are spending money on. And you can see here, even on YouTube, the best part is you don't need a massive channel, even though that's Ryan Sirhan's face. That's my YouTube video. You can see here that I outrank everybody. I outrank Tom Ferry, I outrank Ryan Sirhan for all of these different topics, because if you properly know how to optimize your videos, you're going to be put in a position where you can thrive without having to have a big audience. Whereas if you look at something like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, it's really difficult to thrive until you built a big audience. So you have control, and it kind of gives us a bit more faith and hope as maybe a newer channel or somebody that hasn't yet leveraged video in order to really capitalize on this. So let's dive straight in, show you guys how to instantly rank in your market. So here's an example of one of my own YouTube videos that is done very well. And I'm kind of break down the 4 components before we talk about cracking the algorithm, and then kind of how to make it easy for you guys. So 4 key components to optimizing a YouTube video, which is the tags, titles, descriptions, thumbnails. And we'll start with the thumbnails and then kind of go through that sequence in order. So when we look at the thumbnail, a couple best practices is, number 1, it's a brand play. It's who knows you. So you really want to make sure that unless you're doing a property tour, every other video should have your face in the thumbnail, because you want people to become recognized and familiar with you. Now, the other thing is you want to make sure that the text, the font is big, bold, and legible, because 82% of people are now watching on mobile. So you see a lot of people that are designing their own thumbnails on Canva, and they're using this pretty thin script text. It's a similar color to the background, because when it's blown up on a 23-inch monitor, it looks good. But when it's shrunk down into a mobile phone, it's impossible to read. And the last component of the thumbnail is making sure that the text is different than the title, because people have 2 different decisions to make in order to click your video. Do they like the title? Do they like the thumbnail? And what a lot of people do wrong is they use the same text in the thumbnail as the title. And then ultimately, if they don't like one or the other, well, they're both the same. They're not going to click on your video. Whereas if you can use something different, you can see here, this video is about Facebook ads for real estate. And you can see that it says 63 cents per lead. So all the other people say Facebook ads for real estate tutorial in the thumbnail, but people want 63 cents per lead. So they're going to click on my video versus theirs, which is why it performs so well. Now, when you're looking at the title of your videos, you really want to make sure that you're being very literal. A lot of people try and get creative. A lot of people try and use clickbait or all this kind of fancy stuff. This is a search engine platform, right? So at the end of the day, 70% of the searches on YouTube are how-tos. So you want to make it, and as you're starting to design your title, you just want to think, what would my ideal client be typing into Google or YouTube in order for my video to be found? Right? So if they're looking for moving to Denver, you want that to be in your title. If they're looking for Denver real estate market update for July 2022, you want to make sure that that's your title. You want to think literal, because the more exact the match is, the more your video is going to perform. Now, looking at the tags over here, this is where a lot of agents go wrong. And the tags are essentially, how many different ways could people be searching for your video in order to make sure that your video is found? So you can see here, my video is Facebook ads for real estate step-by-step tutorial. My tags are Facebook ads for real estate, Facebook ads for realtors, Facebook ads for real estate, and then the year, Facebook leads for real estate, Facebook lead ads for real estate. So one of the kind of quality tests that I want you guys to do is, when you're optimizing YouTube videos, remove the thumbnail, remove the title, remove the description. Just look at your tags and say, if I gave Louis these tags, could Louis tell me exactly what my YouTube video is about? And the answer is yes, because you can see every single one of these tags is very hyper specific to this video. I don't put real estate, I don't put realtor, I don't put Calgary, I don't put entrepreneur, homes, business, any of these very generic, terms. because it's not going to rank, especially if you're a smaller channel. You need to go niche, you need to get specific. And then with your description, all you need to make sure you have to do is flood that description with kind of the tags.
And just for people watching, tags and hashtags are very different, you know, because a lot of people think, well, on Instagram I use hashtags with this. It's a very different thing on inside of YouTube, correct?
Yeah, you're basically like controlling, it's almost like backlinks or something like that. Like you're controlling the narrative of your video. Whereas with hashtags, you're kind of just like choosing sometimes broad hashtags with the hope of actually being found on these very broad terms. But what you'll see with YouTube is you're essentially trying to tell people or tell the YouTube algorithm exactly what your video is about. So YouTube actually knows who to serve your video to.
Yeah, because there's literally people typing in, you know, realtors, how to run Facebook ads, you know, how to do. So if you're matching those search campaigns, this is how things pop up so well. So yeah, really, you know, and I'm sure Mike will dive into this, but like just being literal. And I think that's one of the things, like you were saying earlier, like don't be clickbait, you know. It's like, you know, don't put it like how to get 1 million subscribers in 2 months, you know. It has to be legitimate, and it has to be something that you're actually going to cover inside of the video. Otherwise people are just going to turn off immediately.
Big time, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And you know, now what I want to do, guys, is kind of explain to you guys how to increase the performance of your content. Because this is a delayed gratification approach. Do never ask somebody how many videos I need to put out until I get a client, how long until I get a client. That's not it. What you want to do is say, I need to be doing this, so I'm going to do this for the rest of my career. And if I do it properly and improve over time, I will get clients at some point. Right. If you look at the agents that we just showed you as an example that are doing like, you know, 50 to $100 million entirely from video, they just said, I'm going to start doing this and I'm going to do it consistently until I get clients. Not if I don't get a client within the first 3 months and I'm going to move to a different platform because clearly I can't do it. Right.
Yep.
So let's talk about how to increase the performance. There's kind of 4 key components to the YouTube algorithm that really make a difference, and ones that we can control as well, which is the watch time of your video. How much of your video people are watching? The post-launch velocity, how many people are watching in the first 24 hours? The click-through rate, how many people are deciding to click on your video versus others? And then returning viewers. So with watch time, I'll show you in the next slide how to increase your watch time, which is actually hooking people and getting people and giving them a reason to stay for your video. The post-launch velocity is, this is a really good reason as to why you should be using video to leverage your sphere and to nurture your sphere. Because if you've got a database of 20, 50, 200, 2,000 people, well, if you've got even a conservative example of 50 people in your database, if you upload a video and just wait, or if you upload it and send it to your 50 people, if half of them watch, you've got 25 more views than you otherwise would have. You've built momentum. And it's also, again, a really great way to show your clients that you're doing things differently. So nurturing your sphere is going to increase the amount of views you're getting. It's going to show people, not just tell people what you're doing, and it's going to make sure that you're always ahead of the curve. And it's also a really great way to generate referrals, because people are more likely to share a link to a YouTube video talking about the market update because people just want to listen to it than sending an article about it. So it really does increase the kind of communication of your clients behind the scenes with some of the people in their network. Now with the click-through rate, again, it's just designing a proper thumbnail and making sure that everything is congruent. But returning viewers, you can see here in the blue, convenience sells. Right? Convenience is why McDonald's exists. Is why, you know, convenience stores exist, because people want things that are convenient. Well, what you want to do in order to get returning viewers is make it convenient for the people that are watching your content. So if somebody likes the video that you just put out, maybe it's a Denver real estate market report for August 2022. Well, if they like that video, they'll probably want to see other videos for you, but they don't want to have to go search for which videos they should actually watch. So if you can just make it easy for them by saying, hey, here's all the other videos that you might be interested in, they're going to start to go down the rabbit hole. And that's going to increase, you know, people not just coming to your channel, but staying on your channel. And I think also you can see here, the kind of final components are, you know, cross promote, making sure that you're using, you know, YouTube and the viewership on YouTube to pump traffic to other platforms, because maybe you've got, you know, more content related to your family on your Instagram, and you want people to connect with you there. It's a really great way to kind of increase your following. The majority of my following comes from my YouTube channel. And then also conversion, right? For the most of you, you're going to have your contact information here, your website, and different things that are related to how people can reach out and get in contact with you in order to work with you. From me, you can see here my free social media training that people can get if they even comment on this video, but also the opportunity to partner with me and and Louis, for people that want our one-on-one coaching, all of our training, daily masterminds and everything else for free. So now people see, hey, there's an opportunity to partner with these two people, and here's the best videos, and here's how I can link up with them on other platforms.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's almost like the video itself is so important in what you're doing, but the back end of it is really where a lot of the conversion lies, you know. And you know, other things are like pinned comments, you know, commenting and then pin it at the top. Like, hey, if you like this, do this, or you know, put some kind of call to action in there. Reach out about the newest, you know, new construction in my neighborhood or whatever that looks like. Having all these call to actions in the video, in the description, everything like that is so important. And it's actually one of the biggest things that people miss. They put so much time into filming a video to make it awesome, and they forget to tell people what to do after the video. Is, you know, they do all this amazing stuff, but then they forget to say, oh, here's why I made the video. Reach out if you want to go and tour this home, you know, and they forget to put that in. And because people will do, you know, will take those call to actions literally. If you don't put them in there, they're just going to click to the next video and move on. And the next realtor is going to say, hey, reach out on my sale. Let's go and tour this home. And they're going to get the call. So just make sure that you're putting all these things into the video and into the descriptions.
Yeah, definitely. And as Louis kind of alluding to, it's making sure that you're using these call to action. So I want to talk to you about, this is how to increase the watch time of your videos in order to get people to stay on your videos and not just come and dip off after a few seconds because they feel like they're not going to get anything from it. So, when you look at this is kind of the blueprint of how to properly deliver a message that's going to hook and retain people. Whereas if you look at the average person that's putting out a YouTube video, they're going to say something like maybe they're doing a Denver real estate market update and they're saying, hey everyone, it's Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty, and today I'm going to talk to you about what the Denver real estate market looks like in August 2022. Well, that's okay. That's fine. It's good that you're putting yourself out there, but if you've got a 12-minute video on a market update, it doesn't tell them why they should stay for the full 12 minutes. It's kind of like, people have short attention span and more short interest span. And then if they're not interested in the value that you can provide, they're going to go to somebody else that will. So the better way to do it is, hook people in the first 15 seconds. You could say something, especially right now, interest rates are skyrocketing and prices are starting to ease up a little bit. A lot of sellers think they're not going to be able to make the most amount of money for their home. But in this video, I'm going to show you 3 reasons as to why now is still the best time to sell your house in Denver. And then now, okay, there we go. There's like, now they know there's 3 reasons as to why they should stay for your video. They know that there's an outcome, and they know you've kind of played on the scarcity and fear tactic of it might not all be doom and gloom. So now you've piqued curiosity. Then after that, you want to roll into your CTA, your call to action. Say, by the way, my name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty, and if you would like to know how the market is going to affect the value of your home today, then feel free to check out the comment section or the description where you can book a private call with me, or you can feel free to text me or email me anytime. Then get into your video. So this is a really important way to control the narrative because, as Louis alluded to, if you don't call the action, no action gets taken. So there's a lot of people that put out incredible content and then people just watch their content and go reach out to a different agent. Whereas if you say, hey, you can reach out to me anytime you want, and here's the exact way to do it, you're ultimately going to get a ton more people reaching out to you. And you'll see every agent in our group that's crushing a video are all following this blueprint.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, and it's just so important. And the hook at the start, I mean, obviously, you just rattled that one off. It has to be like that. You have to touch some points. Everyone wants to move away from pain, move towards pleasure. So you have to touch on those points. Where's the pain? Interest rates are going up. Where's the pleasure? But prices are leveling off, and you have to kind of highlight those inside of like 15 seconds to get someone hooked that they're like, oh man, if I watch this, I can go more towards the pleasure I'm seeking and away from the pain that I'm feeling. So having those in there is like an instant hook, like to get people onto the next phase.
Big time. And now what I want to do, guys, before kind of diving into what videos you should be doing, and then kind of give you the proper perspective as to how to get started on video, because a lot of people are kind of fearful and kind of scared to get on camera, which I get, as you'll see. I want to show you how to make it easy. So I do my month's worth of content. Actually, now I'm at the point where I do 2 to 3 months worth of content in one session, so that it doesn't take a lot of time. But you have to understand that by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail, right? And this is one of the things that's really important, where I spend a lot of time on planning and preparing so that I can be very efficient with the actual execution of my content. So the way that I approach my videos is, number one, I identify the playlists or buckets of content that I'm looking to put out there for my clients. So for me, it's things like, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, personal branding, EXP, different videos like that. Those are all kind of the buckets or playlists that I do, which then would lead into the second part, which is titles. What are the different videos I want to put in those buckets? Well, for you as a traditional agent, your focus might be buyers tips, sellers tips, investors tips, market updates, relocation, and community tours and property tours, right? So you might have 8 different playlists that you want to populate. Well, let's start looking at filling out the titles of the different videos that you would want to do in that. And if you're struggling to come up with titles, 3 different ways you can do it. Number one, look at other people's YouTube channels in different markets or your market and see what's working for them, and then put your own spin on it. Number 2, look at Google. Type in Denver real estate, and then all these other recommendations based on what's most searched are going to pop up right below as the recommended way to finish that sentence or that search. And then the third way is just look at what clients ask you, right? One of the best ways to get engagement is if a client continuously asks you a certain question about the buying process, selling process, or investing, well, instead of answering one-to-one every single time, create a video and then send them that video every time somebody asks you again, right? So that's a really easy way to kind of look at titles. And then what I do is I write the bullet points, because one of the worst things people do is they try and script. Scripting does 2 things. Number one, takes an astronomical amount of time, which makes it very inefficient. It means you can barely get any content out. And number 2, it also kind of makes it very inauthentic and impersonal, where you really want people to get to know the real you. And if people can tell you're just rhyming off a script, they're never going to be able to connect with you, because people can see through that very easily. And you don't want to be doing that. So write out your bullet points. And the way that I deliver my videos is I'll do the hook in the intro, or the hook, the call to action in the intro. And then what I'll do is I'll stop for a second and look at point number 1 on my computer that's out of the frame. Say, okay, point number 1 is how to sell a house with a realtor in Denver. Look back at the camera, deliver point number 1 based on experience, based on something that I already know. So it's very authentic, clear, concise, and then stop for a second. Okay, point number 2, and I'll move on. And the best part is when you write out the bullet points like this, you can now leverage those bullet points to create your short form content for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. So you can say videos that get seller leads, part 1, and then rhyme off the first 3. Videos get seller leads, part 2, rhyme off the next 3. And then schedule them. So it's really important to look at building efficiencies into your business and making this a priority, because if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, and you're not going to prioritize it. And most people end up treating this as a negotiable.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me there is scripts. Like scripts, it just doesn't make sense, like, because it stifles your personality, it stifles who you are. And we're talking about being authentic. You can't be authentic if you're just reading line by line off like a teleprompter or something, It's why people get so bored of long speeches and politicians and stuff like that, because you're just like, oh, I wish they would just say something, because they're not saying anything. And, as long as you have that bullet point, you know what you're talking about. I mean, one of the things we talk about all the time is like, we know so much more than the consumer. And people don't take that for granted, because we're in, this kind of echo chamber of real estate agents where we talk about the market all the time. We talk about, appraisal gaps. We talk about loan conditions. We know all this stuff. We talk about it all the time. So for us, it's boring, but your consumers don't know about this stuff. So just rattling these things off where you think it doesn't matter, it actually does. I did a video on appraisal gaps and it blew up, and it was the most boring video ever, because appraisal gaps are not like a fun, interesting, topic to talk about, but that's what people were searching for, and nobody knew about it. And the video blew up, and there's comments galore on it. So just things like that you don't really think about. That's the content that you want to be putting, because that's what people are looking for answers on.
100%. And that's kind of a good segue into this, which is what videos work, right? And
Segue king.
Segue king right here. There we go. The number 1. When you look at the videos that are proven to work, guys, it's very simple. Like, as I was saying, like, it's not the videos that are the sexiest. It's not the videos that are the most creative. It's literally just looking at what the heck is the market looking for and giving them the answers they want. Right. So these are the kind of 4 categories of videos that work really well. And, people that partner with us, who really dive into the exact videos to put out. But in terms of the categories, you could see relocation, right? Moving to your city, community and city tours. If you want to farm in area, you should have a video going through all the amenities and the features and the average price points and the styles of homes and what it's like to live in every community you want to farm, property tours, market updates, all these things. But, you know, as we kind of pull this full circle, I really want to show you guys how to get started, because I think this is where a lot of people struggle. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that we're all on this journey together, because a lot of people struggle with video. A lot of people are scared to get on camera. And I want you to see that I truly was too, right? This on the, you know, kind of left-hand side is me back in 2017, my first ever YouTube video. Exactly. Like, it doesn't even look like the same person.
I always want to ask you what that carpet in the background, what's that rug doing in the background there?
Oh, dude, this was the old Remax office, and they had all these big like shag carpets under all the office desks. I was like, what the heck?
I love it.
It's terrible. And then I've got my little like headshot with my little like weird logo and stuff in the bottom corner. Like, I used to go to the office at like midnight after everybody's left the office. I was so embarrassed to record video that you can see I'm looking up in this video. And the reason being is because I used to stack my real estate books. And then what I would do is I'd put my GoPro on top of it and I would film myself. But I was petrified of being on camera, right? And you could even see it in my eyes. You could see it in, you know, my hands being together in terms of like kind of my mannerisms and things like my body language. But the only way to make improvements is actually get started, right? And you can see now, like, you put me in front of a camera, I'm at home. Like, you know, Louis is the same way. Is I could bang out a video one take, no problem right now, if you tell me what to talk about, because I've done it with so many repetitions, which I'll get into in the next slide. But you have to understand that a lot of agents are kind of, you know, leaning on this excuse, which is that they're perfectionists and they don't want to put a video until it's perfect. Well, newsflash, nobody or nothing will ever get to the point of even relatively close to perfect until you take action and improve over time. Because I thought this video was pretty damn good when I first started, and now I think it's trash and I can't believe I uploaded it, right? But that's because you have to make improvements over time, but you have to get started. And that's why imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, and done is better than perfect. Terrible video that's uploaded, as even Louis said with some of his videos that aren't the best, those videos are doing a hell of a lot more for his business than ones that are, you know, sitting in Dropbox hoping to God that they get edited properly and then maybe they're perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
big time.
The next thing, guys, is to kind of drive that point home is looking at this kind of diagram here, which really kind of hopefully will help you understand the importance of frequency as we pull this together. So as you can see here, this is kind of like throughput, and the equation I actually get there, which is volume, skill, and time. So if you've never been on camera, or if you've always been fearful to record video, your skill set is obviously low because you've never done it and you're scared to do it. The time you've put into doing it is zero, so you have no time. So you've got volume. And that means if you want to make these improvements, the only thing you can do is to overcompensate with volume, because the more you put out, the more skill set that you're going to be able to develop, the more time into it you've put. And ultimately, that's going to increase the throughput or the quality or the effectiveness of the activities that you're doing. And then as you, again, develop the skill by putting more time into it, you can actually rely less on volume because the quality is going to be higher, right? The same thing goes for like if you want to get in shape, right? If you're obese right now and you want to get in, you know, lose 50 pounds or lose 40 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever. Well, if you've never been to the gym, your skill set of knowing how to use different machines and equipment is low because you've never done it. Your time into working on your health is zero because you're not doing it. Well, you need to increase the volume of how often you go to the gym and how many repetitions you do in order to get in shape. And then as you start to get better, you create muscle memory, which allows you to develop better skills, to put in more time, and then ultimately you have to do less volume to get the same output. So again, this is a really important graph where you just have to understand that in the beginning, your first videos are probably going to be terrible. You have to overcompensate with volume, which is getting the repetitions in, the time under the bar, in order to actually develop the skill set by putting that time into your business.
Yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to do it. There's no, you know, you go viral with a video somehow by accident, and that's fine. But there's no other way to do this than just skill, time, and effort. You just have to push it in. The last slide there with the two pictures of Mike, you know, I just want to drill this home. The guy on the right here, would never have existed if it wasn't for the guy on the left. And that's one thing you really have to think about. The guy on the right who's confident, who's able to speak at any time about any topic, no matter where, put a camera in front, no problem at all, super confident, would never have existed if the guy on the left with the magic carpet in the background and the camera with the books stacked up didn't take action. And that's what you really have to start thinking about. And it's, you know, it's like that in all aspects of life, but especially in video, because we have such a fear of getting out there. You know, I mean, myself, you know, I'm obviously not from this country, so I know I have this accent that people all, you know, and I can hear it whenever I talk, you know. And when you look at yourself on camera, you notice that you have all these weird like twitches and things and different things that you do, but you just have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and just take baby steps. Just put things out, put things out, put things out, and eventually you get to the point where you're so confident you don't care about these things, you just rattle things off, and like that's where you want to get to. And that's where the clients will start coming in, because they see someone confident, they see someone who can just put things together, who can speak about whatever. And really the beautiful thing about video for me is that the more you talk about things on video, actually the more of an expert you become. So in real life, outside of this, outside of YouTube and videos and stuff, when someone asks you about something, you start rattling things off that you forgot were in your brain because you took time to study it, to put out an efficient video on it. So if someone asks you about appraisal gaps, I can rattle off all the things they need to know because I know it, because I've recorded video on it. So it makes you a better agent as well, because you're absorbing knowledge, continually learning, and then putting it out there in layman terms for your clients.
100%, man. And I really hope you guys take that to heart, because you have to get started somewhere. And as Louis said, communication is the number one skill set you need in order to win in real estate. And the better you get at delivering a clear, concise, compelling, and credible message on camera, the more clear you're going to be able to actually, you know, present at listing presentations, buyers presentations. The confidence you have completely changes to the point where, again, you're going to win listings over way more experienced agents with way more, you know, deals under the belt, because you can communicate better. But that really is accelerated when you start to lean into video. So let's talk about a few things to wrap up here to really drive this point home and hopefully set you guys on the trajectory of success. And because we both want to see all you guys win. And if you do want to talk about, you know, more, getting help from us, feel free to, again, check out those links in the description. But this is something that's really important to me, near and dear to my heart, to show me your schedule and I'll show you your priorities in life and your business. And for me, like we're doing right now, it's Saturday between 8:30 and 1:30. Every Saturday between 8:30 and 1:30 is my recording time, whether it be my long form content for YouTube, my short form for TikTok and Reels, or my collaboration videos with my business partners. Every single Saturday is a non-negotiable. I'm recording my content. But the problem is a lot of people treat their schedule as a negotiable, to the point where they're supposed to be recording content right now, but a lender hits them up and wants to go for a coffee, so they go do it. Or somebody wants to go for a walk and it's nice outside, so they dip out of their office or their house. And they always treat it as a negotiable, to the point where that is a clear depiction that it's not a priority, to the point where that's going to ultimately affect your business. Right. So you need to understand that this is going to be easy for you. You're going to be able to be consistent so long as you treat it as the modern form of prospecting. And this is one of my good friends said to one of us on our mastermind calls, where he said, it's not because things are difficult that you do not try. It's because you do not try that things are difficult, right? Video itself is not difficult. Getting on camera itself is not difficult. It's just difficult for you because you're not trying. And then again, this is the same thing as, like, let's say you want to learn how to shoot a basketball into a hoop. Well, shooting a basketball into a hoop is a very simple process. It's not that difficult if you're close to make the shot. If you use the backboard, it's almost guaranteed. So it's really not that difficult. But if you've never tried, it's going to seem very difficult because the ball is almost the size of the hoop, right? So to you, conceptually, it's difficult, but in practice, not theory, it's really not that hard. But the only reason it's hard is because you're not trying. And the more repetitions you get, the more it's going to be something that becomes second nature to you. And this is something that will drive the point home before we bring it full circle with a few key takeaways: is doing nothing at all versus small, consistent effort, right? So you can see here, 1 to the power of 365. If you do the same thing every day for the next 365 days, you're going to be the exact same position today as you are next year. Well, if you do 1% better, if you just try and get 1% better every single day, try something a little, try to get on camera once more, you know, don't give up, try to do one more video. you're going to see the massive magnitude of the difference between these two outcomes, right? So it's not that you have to be a professional tomorrow. It's not that you have to be ready for HGTV tomorrow. It's not that you have to have the perfect videos. It's that you have to just start. And 1% is not big, but over time with consistency, it yields massive results. So let's bring this full circle and leave you with a couple key takeaways so that you can start to crush video. Number one, get started today, right? Don't wait for next month. Don't wait for next week. Don't wait for tomorrow. Go record a quick little video. Just post on your freaking Instagram stories or something, but get on video because it's going to take time and repetitions under the belt in order to be banking improvements. Don't be so hard on yourself, right? We're always going to be our own harshest critic. That's the nature of being in business as an entrepreneur, is you're always going to judge yourself, as Louis said with his accent, more than anybody else will. So give yourself a break, cut yourself some slack, because knowing that you're the harshest critic, most people are going to look at your video and be super excited to see you doing something different. They're going to support you. They'll be proud of you. And it's not going to be something that is as daunting as you're thinking. You have to embrace delayed gratification. Again, this is something where it builds momentum over time, right? If you look at like traditional prospecting, it's a linear curve. If you put X amount of hours into your prospecting, you get X amount of output. Well, with something like social media or video marketing, it's more exponential, where it starts off really, really slow and you don't get any kind of results for like 3 to 6 months. And then you built up that library of content that starts to hit, and it goes exponential to the point where you'll never have to prospect for the rest of your life. But you have to look at this as a long-term play, not will I get a client in 3 months? It's I'm going to do this forever because I know it's relevant and important for my business. I will get clients if I do the right things over time, right? Now, everything that you want in life is within reach. It's just at what price, right? A lot of people can't get outside of their head because they're scared of, negative comments from somebody. Well, is negative comments more important to you than building the business you've always dreamed of and supporting your family? I would hope to God not, right? So the price to pay to put yourself out there and be a little bit vulnerable and be a little bit uncomfortable is a small price to pay for being able to build a business you've always wanted, to provide the lifestyle for your family and your kids that you've always wanted as well. Surround yourself with the right people, right? This is why Louis and I are able to crush content, and so are all the business partners in the organization, because all the people that are partnering with us at the Wolfpack with EXP, we're talking about this stuff and showing the exact things to do, the exact videos that work today, every single week. Whereas I see a lot of agents, they're saying, Mike, I'm the only agent in my brokerage or my office that's trying to do this, and I feel lonely. I feel alone. I feel like nobody gets it. Well, that makes it really difficult to stay consistent because everybody's telling you it doesn't work and that it's not going to happen. So it's important for you to surround yourself with other people. And that's why we offer the opportunity to partner with us and get this for free, is to make sure that you're surrounded by an ecosystem of over 1,000 agents that are doing this every single week, which is, again, rising tides lift all boats. As long as we're rising the tides together, everybody's going to be lifted up. And again, the final thing that I just want to say, guys, is never give up, because it's not going to be an easy journey in the beginning. It's going to be overwhelming. It's daunting. It's a little bit uncomfortable. But I can tell you from my own experience now, building, a multiple 7-figure per year business entirely from video, it's worth it. And all of those times where I put up videos that I thought were trash, all those times where I got the, onesie twosie comments here and there, every single bit of that was worth it when I saw what it's been able to do for myself. And now, even better, what I've seen what it's been able to do for so many others.
Yeah, 100%. That's phenomenal. And guys, like the real big takeaway here is just get started, just get going. It's all it's going to take. Once you get your wheels spinning, you'll end up going. And if you really put the time and effort into this, it can change your business, change your life, everything. So here's what we're going to do. Like I said at the start of the video, there is an opportunity to join the Social Agent Academy, which is Mike's course, which is a game changer, especially for video guys. If you're interested in this video stuff, it is a blueprint of what videos to do, how to do them, exactly how to break things down, how to find out exactly what to do. If you want that for free, you can drop a comment below. Today, I want you to drop a comment about what is holding you back. What's the thing that's holding you back from video? So drop a comment below, like, subscribe, and you'll be entered in to win a free subscription to that service. But of course, guys, on top of all that, this is free for our business partners, people who partner with us, who scale with us inside of our group. all get this and much, much, much more for free. We also, have a whole training hub on everything inside the real estate, not just video related systems, processing, cold calls, door knocking, like everything you can think of inside of the real estate business. We actually have trainings on this for free with our group, and we're seeing insane success, like you've seen from, people inside of this presentation already. And it's really amazing to watch, and it's such a joy to be a part of. So if you're interested in that, there's a link below where you can book a call to chat with us about it, about partnering up. But I just want to thank Mike. Obviously, this is part 3 of our of our series here. If you haven't watched the other ones, go back and check them out, about branding and about how we're going to change in this market. So go back and watch them as well. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, Mike, couldn't thank you enough for doing this. It's been a huge honor to have you on the channel and to talk about this stuff, which is so important for agents in this ever-changing landscape.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much, guys. Again, hopefully we get to talk with some of you and truly change your business forever, because we've seen what happens when you have the proven blueprint and you don't have to, you can kind of take the guesswork out of it. But this is the stuff we do with all of our partners. We collaborate, we share, and, we're not just hoarding information saying, I want to keep it to myself and not, help other people scale their business like you do at a traditional brokerage. So make sure you guys check out the rest of this series. The videos will be linked in the description of this video. If you guys want to win a free copy of the social media training program, which has helped agents do up to 100 million in their second year. Again, just like, comment, and subscribe to Louis' channel. And hopefully we get to see some of you guys in the comments section and on Zoom with a call with us. Take care, guys.
So yeah.